Hello all, little van update here. So I'm putting in the insulation, but I just wanted to show you this clamping technique that I learned after watching instrument makers make like guitars and violins and stuff. And oftentimes the way they glue things together is instead of a clamp that uses a bolt, essentially a bolt where you would tighten it down and brings two things together, smashes them together and glues it, we're relying on a spring force of a piece of hardwood. So I got all these hickory slats from King Lumber, and hickory is unbelievably strong, so you can bend it and it will be a totally elastic bend, meaning that it is not a plastic bend, and a plastic bend is when you bend something and it doesn't return to its original state. It just bends and then sticks there, kind of like a crease in a piece of paper. But if you look at this, I'm putting in these panels of insulation that I have custom shaped to fit the van. But I just thought this was a funny visual because I have all these pieces of hickory bent to create an elastic tension between this wall and this wall. And this is important because essentially when the heat from the sun hits the wall of the van, or when the cold of the winter hits the wall of the exterior wall of the van, we don't want that temperature differential to do anything. We don't want it to go anywhere. So we don't want it to flow into the van. We don't want it to flow out of the van. So these panels are the line of defense against conduction and convection. So the reason for the spray foam insulation is that there is going to be essentially zero leakage of air from behind the panels. So that means that there won't be any convection happening, loss of efficiency due to convection. And the other is conduction. So when you do a reading of the walls of this van, when you have the sun is blaring down on it, it can get upwards of 120 or 140 degrees, and that's why the inside of the van heats up so much, and that radiates infrared energy into the van and heats up the entire van. So by doing this, we are both keeping convection from happening and conduction. So when I touch this, it will probably feel like the interior of the van instead of 140 degrees, or if it's 0 degrees outside or -10 degrees outside, this will probably still feel like room temperature, and the outside is going to feel like 0 degrees. And then to block heat moves in 3 ways: convection, so we got that done; conduction, so we're safeguarding it against conduction by the thickness of these foam panels; and radiation. So these panels that look like space blankets are essentially taking that infrared radiation coming off of the walls of the van, and it's going, nope, you got to turn around and come back where you came from, because this is essentially a mirror that is reflecting heat. So if you put this between you and a bonfire, you would not necessarily feel the heat shining on you from the bonfire, that infrared heat that's shining off of the exothermic chemical reaction that's happening during the fire. But the main point of making this video is to just show you these funny, it's hard to see the curves on the video, but these pieces of hickory are bent into these funny tension, and it just looks funny.